President Trump has not punished senior Saudi leaders. Would you?
Yes, and I would make it very clear. We were not going to, in fact, sell more weapons to them.
The United States has agreed to resume selling offensive weapons to Saudi Arabia.
We were going to, in fact, make them pay the price and make them, in fact, the pariah that they are.
Citing bureaucratic hurdles, diplomatic procedures, and geopolitical considerations, the United States will now sell precision-guided bombs and missiles to Saudi Arabia.
While we're talking about the ongoing media furore and propaganda campaign that surrounds the ascendancy of Kamala Harris, you know that there are still wars on. You know that there are still parades, Taliban parades, made up of, well, there's no nice way of saying it, weapons that were left there by the botched departure, augured and augmented by Joe Biden. Remember that guy blown away from the dust of history? Did he resign? Did he resign? What amendment was evoked? How come Kamala Harris? Was there an election for Kamala Harris? Was she endorsed? What are the policies? Does she do press conferences? Does she do interviews? So many questions. But don't we just love, instead of policy, an enjoyable parade? Here's a Taliban parade in Afghanistan where $85 billion worth of military equipment is on display. It was left there by the Biden and Kamala Harris administration. But, you know, a parade's a parade. And maybe it's not the Macy's Christmas Day parade, but it's still enjoyable.
M15 یا چین لرونکي امریکایي ټانګونه د جګړې ډګر ته د پرسونل د انتقال پر مختللي ټانګونه دي چې د جګړې په ډګر کې ترې ګټه اخیستل کیږي. دا زغرواله واسطه د ماشینګنو او ټانګ ضد وسلو د انتقال ظرفیت لري او تر ډیره بریده د غونډیو مرمیو او ماینونو په وړاندې مقاومت لري.
They've done a good job of learning how to use that equipment, haven't they? They've really adjusted over there in the Taliban to like those tanks. They're all that's taxpayer, that's American taxpayer tanks, is it? That's all stuff like, where did you get that tank? Well, actually, I don't like to see people like, imagine if you gave something to a charity shop, or you know, and like then you saw someone else wearing it. Like if I gave this to a charity shop, and I never would because I adore this garment. But if I saw someone subsequently wearing it, I think I'd really question my original charity. Now, if this had been left by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden somewhere in Afghanistan, and then I saw people do it in a parade, I think I would feel agitated. And, you know, you can't do too much damage with this beautiful garment. And with some of those tanks, they do look very efficient. I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there at Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, etc. But they do make some pretty fine military equipment. And I should clarify, they're not a sponsor. And that music's actually quite beautiful. It's a very beautiful piece of propaganda, albeit rather expensively achieved at the expense of the American taxpayer. There are still weapons making their way out into the world. Apparently, pariah Saudi Arabia are doing some pretty good deals for offensive weaponry with the United States government. I do remember that Joe Biden, hey, forget that guy. He's gone like old skin cells, like his own memory, just distant. It's Kamala Harris now. Can't you stay with it? It's like a trend. What is it? Is it like Pogs or Pokemon Go or whatever? Like, people don't bother with pop stars now, do they? The culture can't accommodate them. Regardless, the fact is that promises of yesterday are of as much value as Joe Biden's memories. Saudi Arabia are being sold weapons now.
As tensions with Iran increase in the region, the United States has agreed to resume selling offensive weapons to Saudi Arabia. In 2021, the Biden administration placed an arms embargo on the Saudi kingdom after accusing Riyadh of human rights violations in the war against the Yemen-based Houthis. However, Washington says that Riyadh remains one of its most dependable allies in the region. Citing bureaucratic hurdles, diplomatic procedures, and geopolitical considerations, the United States will now sell precision-guided bombs and missiles to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, no. Mind you, I mean, civil rights and human rights violations are getting pretty common. And me, as a person living in the UK, I can hardly condemn any other regimen for being authoritarian or violating human rights. And thank God I'm on Rumble, or I wouldn't even be able to say that without potentially being jailed. So there you have it. Hey, but that's just what I think, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments and the chat. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners.
Hey, this is exciting. We've got a great partner today. It's Rumble. But beyond Rumble is Rumble's latest venture. Let me ask you first, are you a Sleepy Joe type character with zero cognitive performance, struggling to muster focus and brain power for basic things like running the United States of America? You gotta stop drinking woke liberal coffee that hates you and your way of life and start your day by drinking Rumble's very own 1775 coffee. This is gonna be the best tasting coffee you've ever had. Seriously good, ethically sourced from a family farm in the high altitude mountains of Bolivia. Not in the Bolivian lowlands, run not by a family, but by a single man, still living with a pet. No! Instead of waking up and drinking your big corporation-owned woke ideology coffee that's probably making you sick from the pesticides it's sprayed with, try Rumble's 1775 revolutionary coffee. Support freedom of speech. Build a parallel economy that actually values you and loves you. My favourite? It's dark, of course. I've always found the lure of the dark irresistible. I'm sorry, how can I stay mad at you? But you're just going to have to wait over there for a little while. Level up your morning routine with a 1775 coffee. Sleep all night knowing your hard-earned dollary dues are going towards supporting freedom-loving creators like me on Rumble. Visit 1775coffee.com now. Pick up your first bag. Use the code BRAND to save 10% on your first order. Oh, come on. Why choose, you know?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.